and welcome back to the Voyages of here on Rook and Rasp. We'll be following the story of the USS Serenidus as it continues its mission to explore the Gamma Quadrant. We're using the Star Trek Adventures RPG rules from Odysseus. As a reminder, while we enjoy the game, we are in no way affiliated with it. This is a fan thing, not a official anything. We couldn't handle being official. We say things like Kareemed too much. So I'm Matt, and I'm going to be running the game like I always do. And tonight I am joined by Sean, playing
Hey.
Commander Rory Vallon, our first officer. Phil playing Lieutenant Commander Tobin Perrin, our chief engineer. Sarah playing Commander Charlie, our ops manager. We're going to go with. And then Rue Thompson playing Lieutenant Victor Asian Hoth, our pilot and resident Dominion hater for good reason. They've
I
earned every bit of
I
it.
think everybody hates the Dominion. It's Minkler that I was unnecessarily rude to last week.
Poor Minkler.
That's
Uh,
I
so,
will make this
uh,
poor.
In all fairness, we were really rude to the Vorta too, but they kind of bring that on
They
themselves.
were he was really rude to us. I don't understand this eye for an eye that we're not doing.
Yeah.
don't forget tonight we have channel points you can use to give rerolls and to buy up momentum, or definitely give me threat. You can also beam up onto the ship and join us here, just like our crew is doing, which would be awkward if our crew didn't beam up. We just fly off without them. Bye. So to get us started, I'm going to turn it over to Sean so he can read the first officer's log.
First Officer's Log, USS Serenidus, Commander Rory Vallon reporting. Despite the skirmish with the Dominion, the first contact with Alamor 7 has concluded with a very positive week of diplomacy, discussions, and feasting. We've been ordered by the Starfleet Command to a routine survey of a planetary system nearby. After a week full of banquets and entertainment, this will be yet another monotonous mission, and I fully approve. I continue to learn about the senior staff and the crew of the ship. Being the first officer on a flagship is a departure from my previous positions, and I find myself dealing with a lot more than I have previously. I'll admit, Captain Halada and I don't always see eye to eye, except, sorry. I'll admit, Captain Halada and I don't always see eye to eye on expectations, but we're both adapting, and I've come to respect the captain even more than I did before I stepped foot onto the Serenidus.
Your mission to Almalor 7, where Charlie just got back from their trip to I don't know, where'd you guys to Rigel 7? I don't remember what we put on the screen
We
last
put
week, but
Rigel 7, yeah.
yeah. Um, s- did the first contact mission went well. You were there for about a week. There is a diplomatic corps on the ship that kind of reports to the first officer and the captain. They went through with a fine tooth comb on everything they needed to kind of get a feel for laws and how things are being handled. There were a lot of tours of industrial complexes and like medical facilities to kind of show where the planet sits technologically. They are very much a warp power, and they are similar to where Starfleet was about 150 years ago. So not quite to the level of technology um, that the Federation is now, but still far enough along that first contact made sense. Um, you did get to all four of you did get to meet Elrin, the Prime Minister of the Almalorian Republic. Um, so the Republic itself is not just the planet; it is a couple of outposts and a couple of moons that have also been settled, all within the Almalor um, system. So it's still pretty contained, but they're out there doing stuff. And the Almalorians, to note, are humanoid, but they are clearly descended from birds. So they still have feathers on their arms and some in their hair. Um, and they tend to be kind of tall and like thin, but not more. It's like so much taller than humans that it's weird. Um, so yeah, you guys have wrapped that up. The planetary system that you're getting ready to um, survey is just it's really just counting the planets and seeing what's on them. It's not a big deal. It's going to be a lot of sensor work. There may be geological teams that go down to some of the planets if there's something interesting to note. But otherwise, the Serenitis is pretty much going to park in the system for a week or two, depending on how long it takes to go through the system thoroughly. Um, yeah, I think that catches us up. Were you guys all? You have any questions about your time on Almalor 7?
All of them stayed behind, right? We don't have like any kind of like diplomatic guest
No, they all
hanging
stayed
out on the
there.
ship.
You like there's plan for a second contact and follow up. Everything looked good though for kind of like a connection and some trade through the Federation. Nothing out of the ordinary. So at some point there may be Almalorians on the ship, but not this time. They did. The Prime Minister and a couple members of their cabinet did tour the ship just to get a kind of a look. They were very impressed, but also you're 150 years ahead of them in technology.
Were
So that makes
very
sense.
impressive.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um,
I'll
They're going to
say
send
that.
a California class ship to go and check on them.
yes, is that what the
That's
Yep.
what the Cerritos is.
okay?
Hmm.
Every time I hear Cerritos, I think of Doritos, and I still think a USS Dorito would be fantastic.
It would.
It's just a triangle. It's a stealth ship.
It'd be real cool.
It's used only for extreme missions.
Yes. Charlie,
Yes.
can I get you to give me a reason and science roll? It's going to be a difficulty of um, 2, but warp field dynamics will apply.
All righty. My total will be a 15. So here we go. And I got 2 successes.
Fantastic. So you are detecting a ship coming your direction at low warp, like 2.5, so not super fast. The warp trail it's leaving matches some of the like energy readings that you had taken from the Almalorian ships. So it looks, for all intents and purposes, like an Almalorian ship.
Who is in charge of the bridge right now?
The first officer, that'd be Commander Valen.
Commander Valen? The ship has shown up on our sensors. The sensor profile suggests that it is an Almaloran vessel based off of its warp signature.
Uh, is it within visual range? Can we put it up on screen?
Yeah, sure, if that works. Um, it is slightly larger than a runabout. Um, Probably a crew of maybe 10 at most. If it even has a full crew, it could be automated enough not to need one. It does match some of the design, like theming that the Almalorian ships have. Lots of swoops and what you'd expect from people that used to be an avian race, or the people that are an avian race. Let me rephrase that. So yeah, it matches everything you would expect.
Uh, let's hail them. Let's see if they need help or if they're just. I mean, do they look like they're on an intercept course with us or just out there?
No, they are headed your direction.
Okay. Let's hail the ship, please.
Hailing frequencies open.
Fantastic. Um, a female Amalorian shows up on the screen. She looks a little kind of disheveled. There, the ship itself has like the interior of the ship you can see has like conduits kind of hanging, not all the way down, but like they've hastily repaired things and have not put them back in the ceiling. Um, and she says, "This is Nadira of the Almalorian refugee um, Far Flight 1. I'm looking for the Serenitis and Captain Halada,
Uh, I'm sorry. What was her name again?
Nadira."
Nadira. I am Commander Valen of the USS Serenitis. Captain Halada isn't available right now, but uh, what can we assist you with?
Um, Commander, I'm here to have a conversation with your ship about the Almalorian Republic. I'm I'm afraid you didn't get the full story.
And you said you were with who again now?
The Almalorian refugees.
That's weird. There was no mention of refugees.
That doesn't surprise me. According to my sensors, I should be at your location in a couple of hours. Um, at that time, I would request a chance to come and speak with you and your crew.
That could be arranged. It also looks like you may need some help with your ship.
I mean, it's running. We're doing all right.
Well, I'm sure we can help you do a little more than just all right.
Real quick, Charlie, you note that they have weapons, but they're like they could hurt the Serenitis, but it would take a lot of firing. It's not just a small ship, but also like it's behind in technology. Um, they can't go much faster than warp 2.5. Their engines are their clutch is loose is really what it comes down to. Like they can't push it far enough up to go faster. So they're struggling along, and there are some concerning like fluctuating power sources on the ship. And they look like the warp core and some nacelles, but like they are not stabilized.
Actually, I was about to say, as a matter of precaution, Charlie's going to be scanning the ship. It's not going to be like a full tilt, we're at war tactical scan, but this is still an uninvited ship in essentially international waters. So he's going to go ahead and conduct the scan.
Yeah, that makes sense. You would have gotten all that information. I'm not even going to
Okay.
make you roll.
Captain, this ship, while is clearly not as advanced as ours, I'm noting that it appears to be running. I believe the engineering phrase is it's running hot. There's numerous power sources on board. It does not look like they've been able to stabilize their energy matrix. I think it's concerning. It looks like they pushed their ship just to get here.
No, it does look like that from what we can see visually as well. So we're not going anywhere. So when you get here, we'll be waiting.
I will. I look forward to meeting you. And says Nadira out, and it
Valid
closes
out.
off.
I'm gonna call Commander Perrin and Commander Perrin.
Yes.
We've got a Alamorian. Ugh,
It's okay.
words
I
hard.
will choose all of my planet names to make it as hard as possible from now on. It's just going to be all consonants,
The theme, yeah.
and we're going to call him
Almor-
Steve.
Almor.
Amalorian.
Amalorian. I went to Starfleet. Amalorian refugee ship coming in. They're definitely going to need some engineering help. So I don't know how much you studied on their technology, but some repairs may foster some goodwill when they get here.
All right. Well, put a crew together, and if you think we can go over there, we'll hop over there.
Thank you. Well, this is a new turn of events. I mean, they didn't even mention Civil War discourse.
Just saying, we're getting brought into another civil war between some refugees or a rebellion, something every week. Every
It
week
would
in
be-
this quadrant. Every
It
week.
wouldn't be first contact in the Gamma Quadrant without, a twist.
Well,
Listen,
it could
next
be.
year, next week I'm putting you on a holodeck. It'll be fine. Nothing will go wrong. Don't worry about it.
No,
I've been on too many of the holodeck
We'll be-
episodes.
we'll get stuck in some Civil War reenactment from planet who knows where 5 and be stuck negotiating a treaty.
Either that or we're all dressed up as Samuel Clemens going, I do declare, the entire episode.
I'm for that episode.
That's only 2
Robin Hood?
types of holodeck episode.
As during the couple of hours, do you want to do anything like you do have a great deal of information in the data banks. They were happy to provide as much as
Yeah.
they could. Um, like you have some of their literature work, some of their other entertainment stuff, just kind of things to put into a library. They gave you what they considered the best. So it's just like The Office and Parks and Rec, but bird people. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to start looking for any. I mean, obviously they're the winners, so they're giving us a very sanitized
Yeah.
thing. But even when it's been sanitized, there's going to be little anomalies or whatever. So yeah, I would like to research for that.
Can I get you to give me a insight command? Anybody can help with this as well. Diplomacy will apply, and it's going to be a difficulty of 4.
Ooh.
Dang.
I can do an insight command roll. It's not terrible.
Also,
Yeah, I mean, mine's
Rory, we should really update your focuses so you have more than or less than 2 diplomacies.
yeah. I know. I keep forgetting to do that. I did a cut and paste issue.
That's fine. It's
Apparently.
not a big deal.
I'm going to buy a dice if that's all right with everybody.
Yeah, that'll put us down to 3 momentum. We are at 8 threat.
Ooh. Thank you for the reroll, Stevie.
No, shoot, I'm not even looking at chat. Look at that.
And then Roxy, you're helping with Victor.
You only
Yeah, I
have
got
5 jobs.
I got 1 success.
I got a 3, so that is going to be a critical.
Okay.
I got another success at a 9.
Okay.
I don't want to say what the other one was.
Oh, fantastic.
You got the reroll though. You've got the reroll.
Ooh.
So oh yeah, you can just re-roll that dice. So that's fine.
Okay, so that's a 2. So now we have 2 criticals and a success. So
that's gonna, and then 1 more success. That puts you guys back up to, or puts you up to 5 momentum. Going through some of the information that you guys gathered, it is a republic. There are, for every like 500,000 people, there is a representative. They're not by districts. It's similar in how the Weimar Republic worked in Germany, where like people just vote, and then depending on the stratification, that's who they put into those positions by political party, which may or may not be a good idea. So that the looking at it, like there's 8 or 9 billion people on the planet, so their parliamentary is relatively large, but it does seem to work smoothly. You've noticed that there are, political maneuvers and normal stuff, but it's way less cutthroat than you would expect from a planet that may not be as socially evolved as the Federation is, where because there's still currency, there's still there's still demand and need and lack of supplies where they could just be moved. It's very much still in the capitalistic portion of their progression, but it's not nearly as bad as Earth went through at points in history. But it is still, it's not perfect, but it does seem to work. People seem to think their voice is heard even when they're over, they don't get what they want. And the society seems pretty harmonious as far as there's not big outcries for just injustice, or because there's not a lot of those larger problems.
And then we would already know this, but above the board as a player, when we were there, as far as the Federation is concerned, there were no gross violations of rights or freedoms. I mean, everything was up to par with what we would expect.
Yeah, I would say probably some of your diplomatic corps went to court proceedings and those kinds of things, and they found that their justice system is as balanced as it can be. It seems okay. While you're working through this, would you like to spend any momentum to get extra information?
I would assume yes, if everybody agrees.
Sure.
Oh yeah, always.
So one of the things as you're going through it with some of the diplomatic corps, because this would have been something you guys would have pulled up on those back screens on the bridge, you notice almost a hint at something else that has happened where there was a conflict, but there's no other mention anywhere else.
Hmm.
And it was about 10 years ago.
Okay. So that, I'll turn to senior staff that's there and be like, well, this could be what these refugees are referencing are coming from.
Do you think that perhaps we should reach out to the Amalorians, our contacts that we dealt with before, and maybe get a dossier on Nadir?
If we reach out to their government, doesn't that run the risk of informing the government that they are meeting with us in the first place?
Can we ask whoever filed the report that has this mention if they can give us some additional context that maybe they didn't write into the report?
I am not ready to cast that stone into the water by asking about information on Nadira yet.
This is
I mean,
how
their
we
ship
get
doesn't
in
pose
trouble every time. Victor
I mean-
mumbles to herself and goes back to her console.
I mean, their ship really doesn't pose any kind of threat to us.
I'm just saying, we just had a successful first contact, and if we start in negotiating with refugees that might not actually be refugees, but may actually be
She
rebel.
says the word asylum.
Yeah, yeah. The first time somebody says asylum, I'm gonna,
Warp
Kick
it
him out
out
the
there.
airlock.
yeah,
You're gonna drop
I'm
the
going to
hammer.
beam them off the ship.
No,
Ever.
I am fully aware, Lieutenant, that they could not be. They may not be refugees. They could be terrorists. They could be rebels. Whatever flavor you want to cast them in, but we won't know until they get here and we talk. Now, if we can send a diplomatic question on this conflict from 10 years ago and get some additional information, that may help us determine when talking to Nadira if they are refugees or terrorists.
I suppose my primary concern is that I the MO of asking for forgiveness, not permission, has bit me in the ass enough that if the Amalorians find out that we are meeting with someone who could potentially be a terrorist without us first alerting them, it could be a diplomatic shit show. Pardon my language, Commander.
But we could also, as soon as we alert them to this, they could send out their own fleets, and then we're in the middle of a bigger shit show, as you put it.
Listen, boss, you're new here. This kind of stuff never goes out well. Here, just giving you a heads up. It's
Starfleet,
nothing
it never goes
personal.
the way-
It's nothing personal. It's
Okay, how
just
about
the
a
way it is.
compromise? I will compromise in this instance. Reach out to the Almalorians and ask them for informations on refugees and conflicts. Just don't name drop Nadira.
I think that would be a smart move. Give them the chance to fess up that they have a refugee situation.
Or a terrorist situation.
Or
Which
a
I'm pretty
terrorist
sure they're going
situation.
to paint
They're
it in
going to
that
see it
light.
as a terrorist situation.
They will.
Nadira is always going to see it as a refugee situation because there's never a right answer.
I don't know. I don't think the Marquis ever said that they were a refugee situation. They were pretty upfront about
No,
that.
they said
so-
they were refugees for a
Oh,
while.
did they?
Yeah,
Okay.
until they started, blowing up Cardassians. Like,
That's
Yeah.
how every rebellion
Yep.
has gone in history.
No, yeah. Let's see if we can get any information on refugees, terrorists, the conflict from 10 years ago, and then we'll see what Nadira has to say.
so who is calling the Almalorian Republic?
Minkler.
Yes.
Look,
Hey,
not
I'm all
Charlie.
for this.
Not Charlie.
Hey, Black Badge, why don't you call somebody?
Why don't you make yourself useful instead of poopie in everything we do?
I can send a subspace. Or
Oh, yeah,
whatever it needs to be. I can just send a
Okay.
request for information.
I'm just
Charlie,
saying-
Charlie missed Minkler coming out of the woodwork last game.
As a Section 31 dude, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
oh,
terribly impressed.
I'd like to point out that I've always treated him nicely. So
I mean, he just came out wanting to, get in. He waited until, as normal, this would be like a flashback montage to
Oh yeah,
Victor
yeah, yeah.
updating Charlie at the Dapple Doe. This MFer just shows up out of nowhere. We've like been dealing with this conflict and this situation with the Vorta. We have a plan and we're executing the plan. And here he traipses in his little black badge and his little outfit. And he's like, I think Starfleet intelligence would like to keep this ship. And I'm like, well, you should have said something an hour ago. and,
I
and
mean,
he's like,
almost verbatim what was said. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't tell you
Yeah.
what to do. And I was like, no, you can't. But,
And
And
then
it was a
Victor
good
gave him
plan, too.
both the fingers and left.
yeah, then I was like, I have a remote button for our plan up at my console. I'll go deal with it if you need me to launch this ship. It was really cool. We did launch a ship that created subspace or
Speed
warp.
bumps.
Yeah, it basically created snags in the warp tunnel or whatever it's called.
Well, I got a good report for you, Charlie. You just read
Yeah.
up on that.
Flashback to
You-
normal.
After you send off a subspace requesting more information, there is a hail to the ship from the Almorian Republic.
Up on the view screen.
It's Elrin, the Prime Minister, and it's been probably 10 minutes. This is a real quick response. Like, there's a bureaucracy on every planet, and this went
Right,
straight to the top.
hard.
Commander, it is a pleasure to see you.
You too,
I
Prime Minister.
received a request from your ship. Am I reading this correct?
Yes, we've actually gotten wind of some refugees from a conflict from 10 years ago.
I don't believe that you have all the information, and I will send what I can. There are portions of our planet that we do not discuss even within ourselves, and I think that may have been extended to you. I apologize. I understand this may look bad, but I will send that over in just a few moments. You should have it.
I appreciate your time with this, Prime Minister. I wasn't expecting to hear from you directly, but
If someone is to speak of these troubles, it falls to me. That's my position.
I will let me read this over and I will get back to you with more information if it is pertinent.
Oh, excellent. If you need anything else, Commander, please don't hesitate to request it. We will be happy to share whatever we can.
Commander Valen out.
So
That's suspicious.
a couple of minutes later, there is a whole folder of documents going back 800 years,
Well, I'll
showing
settle in
that
for some light reading.
once a year, every year, members of the public who have been found to be irredeemable are sent off planet. And by irredeemable, I mean these are murderers. Like these are people who
Okay.
have committed terrible crimes. These aren't just like this dude spoke out against the prime minister later, but like there are court documents that show that they were found guilty. And this isn't even just like this is kind of their death row. Like they put people that would go on death row off of the planet once a year.
Gotcha.
And they are
there's
given-
there's a prison in Australia somewhere that they send them to, or they just send them
No,
in a
no, they
ship?
give them kind of crappy ships. They are told that if the ship comes back into the system, it will be destroyed as a safety issue or as a security issue. Otherwise, they are free to roam the galaxy as they see fit.
Just don't come home. Gotcha.
Yeah.
On a related note, because Charlie hears that and is naturally curious, he is going to search the database for frequency of piracy attacks in neighboring systems, as well as those systems linked to war
So,
with the
so
Republic.
because of where you're at in the Gamma Quadrant, there's not a lot of information about the systems.
Mhm.
There haven't been reports by any of the planets that you've interacted with. The Sartorians act as an intermediary to set up the first contact, and they've never said anything about pirates. Not those
Okay.
pirates. Other pirates, yes, but like not not these particular people. And the ships they have from the readouts, like if if the planet is 150 years behind, we're talking like Enterprise, the series level of technology. So like they have like pulse cannons and maybe atomic warheads because they don't have photon missiles. So like the fact that the ship you scanned was as good as it is means someone upgraded it, and it may be in their own work, but like it is like head and shoulders above where they should be because of like the ships that they're sent out on. It is noted also that like the ships are specifically built to send people away. They are given food. They are given the things they would need to survive for a time.
It's still like Charlie's going to be like this will be an ongoing thing that Charlie's going to be doing in addition to his duties. It still seems weird to Charlie because if this culture is only barely getting into space, then ships would be a premium. So I understand this might be a cultural thing for them, but they're still essentially sending them out into space in their equivalent of a Bentley. So it's that's why Charlie's just curious. He's just
Sure,
that's
sure.
going to be his background. His background
So
googling.
yeah, so looking more at their history, since they sent that over, um, they've had space travel for almost 1,000 years.
Okay.
It's just that they have not progressed their warp technology and they have not progressed their weapon technology. They've kind of just
Plateaued.
Yeah, well, they've kind of just hurtled their way over here. Like, just if we stick our heads in our shell, we won't get attacked. And they've stayed out of kind of the way of anybody. They're not worth conquering. The planet has resources, but they're not abundant. Like there's nothing super exciting about it. And they're just kind of okay.
Which explains why they're not part of the Dominion.
Yeah. So, anything else you guys want to do before?
And,
Um,
and the history that they sent over is clear that it's always murderers, arsonists. I mean, truly
yeah,
irredeemable. It's
there
not like
are
some.
there are probably 8 or 9 million court cases that just from the quick glance, because you can't go through all of them, there's too many. From a quick glance, it looks like these are people that were not just like assumed to be murderers, but like proven beyond a reasonable doubt. People saw them do things.
Gotcha.
There was evidence every step of the way. So it's not like somebody got accused and wrongfully exiled. It's that this is stuff that has been clear.
So if there's court cases, can we search for Nidra's name in this?
Oh yeah, sure, Nadira.
Yeah, Nadira. Sorry.
Yeah, she comes up from 2 years ago. She during a night of some celebration, she became enraged and killed three bystanders at a party. Um, was seen doing it. The weapon used was hers. There's video. There are eyewitnesses. Like there's like the court case is pretty open and shut. For she did this. This was wrong.
Well, Lieutenant, it seems like you're right.
Well,
I
it's not even about being right or wrong, sir. It's just after our incident with the Vorta and the Karima last week, it I'm a little gun shy of being approached by small vessels from neighboring planets.
I don't disagree. So, uh,
I think a lot of my time would have been spent preparing to help repair the ship, since that's kind of some of that last
Sure,
direction.
sure.
I think some time is going to be invested here, and I think a couple things that like they spend some time seeing if I can tell in the files if there's any obvious like, oh, we deleted this and omitted that. Like I'm guessing that would not be optional what they sent over. But they spent a little bit more time, particularly looking at Nadira's files to seeing if any of that evidence is doctored.
Um, yeah, that makes sense. I like that. I like that line of thought. Why don't you give me, let's call it a control engineering roll. Because of the way you're doing this, let's say that computers applies. It's going to be a difficulty of 3.
Can the ship assist?
Oh, absolutely. The ship would assist with computers and engineering. So that's a 12. And it crits on a 2.
No success.
Are we at 5 momentum?
We are.
We are.
Okay. So I have to buy 1 die so I can roll 3.
Okay. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You were at 4 momentum because we used 1 for extra information. That'll put it down to 3, though. It's not that big
That's
of a deal.
fine. We're good.
Yeah, go for it.
Wait, I want to look at my talents real quick. Sorry.
Peter gives you
When
an
I
extra
attempt
dice.
it,
Yeah.
I get
Oh, no.
reroll. So let me see what I roll. Make sure I don't roll any 20s. Then maybe I'll give it to the ship. So I rolled a 1, a 5, and a 13. So Rube, you can reroll.
Oh, sweet. That is a 3.
So
1 more success.
That's 6
You said it was-
successes that I'm catching.
yeah, that's
Okay,
okay.
that'll put us up to that'll cap us on momentum at 6. Yeah, so looking through these videos, they like again, the technology's behind. So like assuming that you guys are working on digital files, these are like VHS transfers. So there's a little bit to it, but it is consistently lower-ish quality all the way through. Nothing skips or bumps, or like there's nothing really in it that makes you concerned. The only thing that you notice is that moments before Nadira fires on the 3 bystanders, there is a change in her demeanor that goes from excited to almost a like straight rage and confusion, and then he immediately fires on the 3 people. And looking back at the footage before that, like they hadn't really interacted at the party, like they hadn't been near each other. Like there's nothing that would have led her to have a motive for this at all.
Quickly bring that to the commander's attention.
I mean, she could have been drunk. Does the record they sent over, does it have any other criminal history or just what they were convicted of?
Oh yeah, no, it would have their criminal history as well, and also talk screens are part of the court record.
I was
going to
say, is there any kind of toxicological
there are
report?
there are no chemicals in her system that would cause intoxication in any Federation species. Now, cross-referencing that with like now I'm doing it.
Amalorian.
Almalorian physiology, like that might be different, but the Federation has enough, including some avian species. Like you can't see anything that would cause anything like that.
What about previous criminal history? Is she
She
for
had been
or...
arrested for trespassing and public defamation of a building. She basically tagged a building at one point.
Yeah. So no
Like,
history
nothing
of
terrible, nothing
yeah.
violent.
No history of dissidents or
No,
protesting or
like she held a job, but it was always kind of nothing spectacular. You know, retail or fast food or like low level office work. No real progression up, but
she worked at the seed factory 9 to 5.
yeah, she worked. Yeah, so like nothing surprising. She led a pretty unremarkable life. There are testimony, like character witness testimonies from her friends and family that are all very positive about her, but nothing really stuck out. They noted that she had, made some poor choices in her past, hence the trespassing charge, but like nothing else really all that great. And if you look at the trespassing charge, she really was just like putting a design on a building that didn't need to be there. It wasn't even something like in protest or like anything political or dangerous.
This
Teenage
probably
shenanigans.
this probably isn't included with these records, as these are specifically related to her criminal past. But did they? Is there any record of if they did any kind of brain scan or any kind of other type of physiological scans besides a
No,
toxicology report? Okay.
they did not.
And this isn't a species, or their level of technology wouldn't include any kind of neurological implants, anything like that. That would.
It some kind of similar to how we have pacemakers now. They might have things that would stimulate appropriate enzyme protein like creation. So like your hypothalamus can just go all uh, cattywampus. Like they have done things to install things to like restart it, that kind of stuff. But nothing that should cause a problem. And she doesn't have any of that.
Okay.
I'm
No,
definitely interested in hearing
her side.
her side.
I have to admit, after Commander Perrin drew our attention to the video that shows her going from happy to enraged in just seconds, yeah. Not saying I'm letting her on the ship, but I'm willing to open up the channels of communication.
It is a
The last
culture
thing,
which
go ahead.
it is a culture which punishes graffiti with exile. I can
Well,
see
no,
why she might be a little sensitive.
they didn't exile her until she killed 3 people.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, like they gave her community service and 30 days in a correctional facility.
okay. Sorry.
So this
So
isn't
maybe
like
a little
three
harsher
strikes.
than it would have been on Earth, but like also like what are you gonna do? That's not even that bad.
I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
community service in 30 days isn't. I mean, and honestly, after some of the stints I did prior to Starfleet Academy in juvenile detention, uh, being exiled with a ship and free to do whatever I want, just not come back. That it could be a hell of a lot worse.
Is there anything in the record that shows when they're incarcerated if there's any kind of intense, like,
Deprogramming.
yeah,
So the incarceration is the most white collar prison you could expect for people that, or at least the one that she went to. Like, yeah, they were held away from society, but they were given things to enrich their time. They were not used as labor for companies. Like it sucks being in prison, but also like
if you wanted to, you could take that opportunity to educate yourself, to make more of
yeah. And
yourself.
Starfleet prisons currently are a little bit worse than that.
Oh wow.
Like Starfleet has like colonies for labor, like labor colonies. That's the word I was looking for. Like not necessarily out of the question, but also like that's a thing that Starfleet has. So the
Well, they're
last thing you
just
do note in the file is that during her sentencing, she not only admitted that she had done it, she admitted feeling remorse for it, and she wished that she could do something to make up for what she'd done.
that doesn't answer any questions, but at least I guess we'll just have to hear what she has to say when they get here.
Commander Charlie, can I get you to give me a reason and science difficulty of 1?
That is 3.
Fantastic. We already capped, so I'm not going to give you anything there. But that's fine. When the ship comes out of warp, it is a little bit farther in distance than you would expect. Like they purposely gave space. Um, there are 6 um, Almalorians on board. You do detect like hand weapons, like phasers or their equivalency, but none of them are carrying anything. They're in lockers.
I'm going to relay that to the crew.
You are the ship hails again.
All right, here we go, folks. Let's get our game faces on screen, please.
Thank you, Commander, for allowing me to come here. I would prefer not to have a conversation over communication like this. If you would allow me, I would like to beam aboard, just myself.
There have been certain things that we've learned.
You got my criminal record?
I have your criminal record.
I understand. If that's a concern, not only would I expect you to put security officer on me, I would insist it.
I was more thinking if you would have a problem if we beamed you directly into one of our containment cells.
If that's what you feel is best, I'm not gonna argue.
We've had some recent experiences in the last couple weeks that would make myself and my crew feel a little more at ease with this.
Of course, I understand.
I don't foresee any problems unless anybody on your ship gets jumpy and starts firing.
If they get jumpy and start firing, that's a very poor choice. It's my understanding that your ships are quite capable.
I mean, sorry, I just had one of those intrusive thoughts. I was like, well, yeah, we won the war. Duh. But no, yeah, no, yeah. So let's go ahead and do that, and we will head down to the brig to talk to our guest.
All four of you go down there.
Do you need the con officer?
Well, I mean, you've had some insight into this that I think might be valuable.
Sure. Yeah, I can come down.
Commander Charlie, I appreciate you accompanying us. You've also had some insights into all of this, and you may pick up on some things that I'm not. And
I would be
Commander
honored.
Perrin, if you would meet us in the brig, maybe we can get her to discuss their needs for repairing the ship if we go in that direction.
Absolutely.
So the four of you come down to the brig. There are the appropriate number of officers there. They kind of give you the room when you come in. Nobody else is in here because, like, nobody else has any problems on the ship. They're all, military personnel. She's standing there. Seems to be at a calm stance, just kind of waiting behind the force field. And she says, "Commander, it's a pleasure to meet you in person. I'm afraid I don't know the other three of you. I am Nadira, and it is, of course, my pleasure to meet you as well."
Nadira, this is, and I'll go through all the introductions, ranks, names,
Sure.
all of that.
Don't ask Sean to recite them all right now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nugget, for the threat. It's fantastic. I'm going to spend all my threat
Nugget.
and eject the warp core.
Stevie.
No,
no, warp core.
She
We've got to glue that thing in place.
She says, "I understand your reticence. My request is both simple and I'm sure very large. If you know my criminal record, I'm sure you've read over the history of what's been going on with the Almalorians.
We have.
It is my request that the Federation help us find a place to colonize. We just want a home. That's it. Now, that as simple as that sounds, I also understand there's a lot of infrastructure, but I would like to put my foot on a rock again."
I'm not sure that we have the authority to place you on any planets, especially if it's somewhere that the
Almalorians.
Almalorians. Why is that so hard?
Just think of the
Where-
tuna.
Where the Almalorians
Now we're going to get
Like-
the bumblebees.
would lay claim.
That's what their ships look like.
Can I ask, since I would have been preparing to fix their ship, I should have some idea of what their long range sensors are capable of in this souped up ship, right? It's better than what they should have gotten.
Yeah.
Or should have. Okay. So that relative to the space we're in, how difficult is it for them to be like, okay, you can scan the areas that aren't claimed or whatever for a habitable planet.
There are planets within their capability of travel that are uninhabited by humanoids. So, animals and plants and such, but like M-class planets that do not have humanoids on them, that would definitely be outside of anywhere that the Almorian Republic would claim. But also this is asking still a lot if you're going to set them up in anything other than like a rudimentary camp. This is industrial replicators.
Oh, okay. I guess I was just
Like
gonna be like that way and be
yeah,
done.
oh yeah, yeah.
Those
But
are
if like
there.
well, and like you would assume that they're probably aware of those, but also you can't just land a ship and put up a tent and hope that a society survives.
Doesn't something like this happen in Next Generation? Isn't there?
A bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Probably.
no. I'm thinking of an episode with Wesley.
There's the one where he falls in some plants and gets sentenced to death.
Yeah, that's what I was
No,
thinking about when you were talking about
that's the.
exiled for graffiti.
Oh yeah, that's
that's
true.
when he was really annoying.
That's
There's
the
the
that's the episode with the people in the white like skimpy outfits, isn't it? Where they're all like
Yep. All
South
beautiful.
Beach body.
there's one where a culture exiled their soldiers to like their moon.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I just remember like
Oh,
transports being like emptied and they were trying to help these people do a settlement, but then it was a big.
Oh, that was the one where Worf's brother was basically doing a Federation investigation. That planet was being destroyed, and so they set up holodecks to transport them to their ship to fly them to another planet. But they couldn't let them know they were on the ship because they were pre-warp society.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Worf's brother did the bad thing and had a family.
there's also one of the crystal entity attacks a new colony.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
answer, Roxy, the short answer is yes.
Yeah, I was just trying to plug my brain into how has this gone
Not
in the
well.
past.
And I feel like somehow Angel One Riker like works into this, and I'm not sure how. I don't know why that's tied to this story. But Angel One Riker's the one with like the what looks like silk pajamas, but it's open and it's just got his manly chest on.
Mhm.
He's really oh god, Jeff Goldbluming it
Yeah,
in
That
that
is the
episode.
height of Federation fashion. I'll let you
Yes.
know. Just
I mean, of course it is.
No
Honestly,
one's arguing with it.
Commander, this is
Above
this
our
is
pay
a
grade.
big ask, but also it's not like they're asking us to like go to war with the Republic.
There
Um,
is no question in my mind that the people that I am asking this for deserve to be out of the society we were raised in. It is safer and better for the planet. I understand that,
What
but we
makes you
just want a
think?
home.
But I can appreciate that. In fact, my planet has a history of banishing the undesirables, the criminals, to an island, and it ended up, after a lot of strife, being a thriving community. But what guarantee? I mean, I've read through the criminal records of some of the people that have been expelled, and what makes you think that any of you are going to work peacefully together to make anything long term lasting?
I I represent around 300 ships of similar size. That our population is between 25 and 2,600 people. It was, if you count all the people that should have been on those ships, around 2,800. The people that aren't with us any longer were the ones that were violent, and we couldn't trust them.
can I ask why you were um, almost insistent on personal guard?
Because I've already proven that I can't be trusted. If I prove it again, that's it. The guard is there to protect you.
No, I understand that, but I'm not gonna lie. We watched the video of or we watched a video of your crime.
I
You seemed enraged, but also confused.
yes.
Do you believe that you cannot be trusted?
I believe in what the Republic chose to do. If it happened again, they weren't they weren't safe. And if it happened here, I would rather I would rather you not be affected in a negative way. The Federation has done nothing to us, um, so there's no reason that we should impact you in a negative fashion.
You have to realize that what you're asking is not something that is going to be a decision made lightly, or even at this moment. I can tell you that it will be taken under consideration. We will talk to our superiors about what this could imply and entail. In the meantime, we were prepared to help you with repairs to your ship, but I'm hesitant in sending our chief engineer over there with his crew, given what you told us.
Can their ship fit in our
Um,
dock?
yeah, it'd be a little bit tight, but it'd work. Um, she says I hesitate to call him an engineer. He's really just using um, adhesive and hope to hold our
Super
ship
glue and
together at
paper
times.
clips. Officer MacGyver.
Um, if you wished, the other members of my crew could beam here into the brig, and then just the engineer over there, so that he could show them, so that they had someone who knows firsthand what the ship is capable of, or we could beam all of us in here, if that's what it takes. If you could repair my ship and I could go faster, I could communicate better with the rest of my people.
Forgive me for having bad memory and not not quite catching everything. When I asked her about the confusion, what did she say again?
She avoided it.
She
Like
avoided
she
it.
did not answer. Like Matt purposely did not answer your question.
Okay, okay. That's is
Yeah.
there I'm just going to say this above table. Victra will watch this conversation continue, but she's going to want to see if she can find videos of some of the other criminals.
Sure. Sure.
And not just out of morbid curiosity, but if there's something that could potentially be affecting people and causing them to do things like that, then it needs to be addressed.
I agree. Well, Commander Parent, I mean, do you need their engineer with you when you start making these repairs? Do you feel confident in your knowledge of their tech and ours?
I think that the best way to help them, Commander, would be if the engineer was there. Because if I put it in there, I don't give them the knowledge to be able to work with it going forward. As soon as anything happens to it, they'll be as lost as they are now. So I prefer to do some knowledge transfer within normal Starfleet regulation bounds, and kind of giving them tech and assisting them with their tech, and getting them better on their way.
There are portions of Federation tech that are allowed to be given out. Like a regular ass replicator, nobody's gonna care.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, they're gonna make soup. Like, like that stuff is fine. But like industrial replicators are expensive and big, even though this is a world where there is no need and like no exchange of currency. Like the industrial replicators are there's only so many that can be built at any time. So
Right.
like
I'm also
that is good.
I'm also not going to make a lot of promises right in front of Nadir about like, well, we could give them this, and be like, actually, no, the commander's got to be a butthead and like be like, no, we're not giving them that.
We've got
It's
3
also-
quantum torpedoes.
Also, like, not to be that player, but we can't give out replicators, actually.
Oh really?
Well, they can
No.
be used to make biological weapons.
Oh, right.
It's a restricted tech.
Yep.
Huh.
We can give out things that are next to. We give out protein synthesizers.
Oh, yeah, like the ones on Enterprise.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because your standard replicator can make just about anything. I mean,
Yeah,
Except
maybe
other
there's some sort of like somewhat like basic, like, okay, if you're gonna help out, ship or whatever, make sure they at least have this level of whatever. I'm sure there's some sort of guide around that, and they'll generally follow that.
Mhm.
So you're going to send over 8 crates of self-sealing stem bolts, and
And a Ferengi
Oh.
boy.
And biomimetic gel.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
definitely a good
Oh,
idea.
And one holodeck.
Whoa.
I
It's
just
more
got that
this-
rewatching Voyager. It's harmless tech. That can't be misused at all. It gets misused.
So badly.
All right, so yeah, let's start putting things in motion. I am going to, when you send your engineering team over there, I'm going to send, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, Levram with them.
Yeah.
Protect them from anything that their engineer might do. I figured he could handle it. Yeah, and we'll start beaming the other refugees into the break.
Yeah, so when you beam over, or you beam the 4 members of the crew that aren't the engineer onto the ship, Perrin beams over just fine with his crew of engineers. Perrin, what you see is like this is all duct tape and hope. Like there's a lot of stuff that is working, but only because they've gotten lucky. Nothing here is going to like blow up the ship, but there's a lot here that could cause a lot of problems.
So the jury rigger, I'm like, ooh, this guy, this person, they know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are met by a gentleman named Damaron, and he points you around and shows you his priorities, and then you notice there are priorities that are not on that list that you really just should focus on.
Like Doritos?
like he doesn't point at the warp core, but the warp core is not, like, they are not getting the power out of the warp core they should because it is not balanced correctly.
That's weird. I've never seen a warp color in that color before.
Why is it green?
I'll try to steer him towards wherever I think I can transfer the most knowledge. But if he's pretty insistent about like, no, over here, then like I'll do whatever he wants me to do, and I'll let the rest of my crew like attend to the things that I know.
He is incredibly deferential. So like as soon as you're like, the warp core looks like it, he's like, oh well, then let's start there.
Okay.
Like whatever you want to work on, he's happy to take the help.
While I'm not there, I'm assuming we're keeping comms open and all that. So do these sound like hardened murderers?
Their behavior, no, not presently in front of me. Though I haven't interacted with that many murderers, to be fair, Commander, but also B, I don't imagine that they expose themselves when the odds are stacked against them.
Victra would be spending this time looking for those videos if she's
So
not at the console.
not every court case has videos, but the portion of them that do, 99% of them, you see a similar thing happen where even if it's not rage, it's just frustration. There's always a look of confusion, and then violence happens. In the 1%, it's just clearly like this person wanted to kill this other guy that they knew, and so they did. Like, so there are some instances where there's clear motive and premeditation, but they are very, very small compared to the other cases.
I would communicate with other senior staff that I just feel like something's not right. Something's, and I'm not saying that necessarily there's like, I don't believe it's necessarily like a government conspiracy or something like that, but I feel like something is wrong. Just for shits and grins. What is this is off the wall. What is Almalor's like birth rate and like population situation? Do they have plenty of room to grow, or
They
are
are
they at
kind
max
of
capacity?
they're kind of close to at max capacity, and the culture has kind of leaned away from having more than like two kids. So like they are trying to balance, and it's clear that like the entirety of the world is mostly trying to balance. There are people that have lots of kids. There are still people that have no kids, but they are trying to stay at that 8 or 9 billion people where everything works and they can get them what they need without going over and causing a push on the planet. It should be noted that Almalor 7 is probably twice the size of Earth, so they have way more room than Earth does. It's about the same um, water to land ratio. So they by 2024 Earth standards, they have lots of room to grow as far as they're concerned, as far as Earth would be concerned. But they've come to this kind of this is where we need to be. This is kind of the cap on where we should be on people.
This is ideal for the
Yeah.
planet. Okay.
And the
Okay.
percentage that they're sending off planet for these crimes wouldn't offset.
No, I mean the we're talking about a tiny, minuscule, and so we're talking like maybe 300 or 400 people a year.
Okay.
But like that's in a population of 9 billion. That's a lot of people
Yeah,
for
that's
not a lot of people sent off.
Yep. Nope. Um yeah, I'll just communicate that I just feel like something seems really weird. Like I don't know if it's somebody's targeting these people with some type of sonic weapon or some type of, I mean, this sounds like television from the 20th century Earth, but like a mind ray.
Commander.
Ah,
Oh my god.
They've seemed
things sound
very.
kinky.
Things sound very. They seem very amenable to meeting our wants, and we've got them in our brig. We could make a claim of wanting to prevent sickness and perhaps take some more closely and certainly more highly detailed medical scans than they would have been able to. Like we could have our doctor go, sorry, and be like, oh, we just want to make sure you don't bring any infectious agents onto the ship, so we're going to scan you and we're going to look for.
Sorry, we were all looking weird, Phil, because as you were talking, your background noise went way up, but then as soon as you stopped, it went away, and now you're talking again, and it's not there. So like that was odd.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Like
We were
audio is
all
weird.
just, I was like looking around at like ours to see if John had bumped you up. And then it says, all right.
I muted myself going, oh, am I getting feedback?
Yeah, I mean that's something you could definitely do.
It is within Starfleet operating procedure, and they are a new species.
As I'm sitting here, I also realize that of the four of you, you all have the exact same score in medicine, which is 1. So that's great.
Well, you got rid of the best doctor ever.
Nurse Rixla is.
Oh no, we got Rhombus. Don't worry, we got.
Oh yeah,
Rhombus.
that's right. Doc Rhombus.
Isn't he the one that slaps you?
Yeah. Doc Rhombus is a Tellarite.
Yeah.
Charlie. Yeah.
Very argumentative.
Yeah, and always right, and like
Just
not
blunt.
like you have heard crew come in with like bruises and lacerations, and he refuses to heal them and just tells them to get out. Like, quit being babies, go back to work. Like minor stuff he just doesn't want to deal with, but he's a good doctor. Like he is a very good doctor.
And oddly enough, the Ready Clinic on the holodeck has seen an increased patronage for the crew.
There's a secret black market. There's a
He's the best.
secret black market for like cellular regeneration tools on the ship.
He's the best doctor. He only accepts people he knows he can treat, so he's got a great clearance rate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
Walgreens Hollow program for anybody who needs to get quick service.
Why don't we? Why don't I have Sean? Why don't I have you roll? Um, the difficulty would be 2, and you're going to use this doctor stats, which would be a 13 for this.
Okay.
We're essentially going to create an NPC that will stick around, and like I'll have a sheet for him here eventually. But like,
Cool. Well, I rolled a 12 and a 5.
so that's 2 successes. That's probably 3 successes. Okay, fantastic. You're already capped anyway. So the doctor comes down with the medical team, gives them all a scan. He pulls up the information from the database that is already like of the physiology. And he says, there's a lot I'm gonna have to go over. You're gonna have to give me a little time. Like, this is a whole new species. I'm sure I can parse through it, but you have to give me time.
Yeah. Standard
Cool.
Federation, day.
Hey, boss.
Should be good.
We're not telling you what to do here.
All right, I'm gonna go back to the sick bay. And like after he scans them and like walks out, just
And
They're alive. My job is done.
yeah,
Isn't he the best?
they're bird people. What do you want?
So
he
efficient.
successfully
Yeah,
scanned them.
At least he didn't. At least he didn't say, like I'm a Dr. Jim, not a veterinarian or something like that, which seems like a thing that he would say.
So Perrin went to the other ship.
Mhm.
Are the other 3 of you still in the brig with the they're not prisoners, the Almalorians?
I think I went up.
The guess.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I went up. Well, I went upstairs.
I might
to
go to the
another
ship.
place.
I'm sorry. Oh, you went to the other ship as well, Charlie?
I'm an expert on warp field dynamics, so I might be able to squeeze a couple more, warp factors out of their warp core.
Legit. That makes sense.
I think I'm gonna spend some time in the brig talking to the other crew members and getting a feel for them.
So you like Perrin is doing his thing with Charlie. Victor's up on the bridge, kind of parsing through videos and trying to figure out like if she can see anything new. While you're sitting there, kind of talking and chatting with them, you have put them all in one of the larger cells, so they can all be in there together and like they aren't isolated. It's a nice conversation. Like they seem they seem a little reluctant to talk about what they did, but also they have done a thing, and they are all very clearly. They wish they could go back and fix it. Like they want to make amends, but this is what it is, and this is what's best for the Republic. Is what you keep hearing. Like if this is what it is, this is like we should go here. We should be on these ships, but we would also like to have a home. But this is where we're at.
I'm gonna.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say, Victra sends out a message that, and she'll copy Doc Rhombus on this too. But is there any way to tell if they have been programmed, or, for lack of a less scary word, brainwashed?
It's one of the things I'm looking for. Any kind of psychic surgery, any kind of implanted suggestions. That is on my list, Victor. It's a good call. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So you've been sitting there for probably an hour and a half, talking with the 5 of them. One of them finally kind of, they've all been kind of sitting on the bench. One of them, you've learned his name is Laro, stands up suddenly. You see a flash of rage on his face and confusion, and he begins to pummel one of the other men in the brig. And I mean pummel like like the Hulk pummeled Loki in the Avengers. Like that. Like we're not talking nice. We're talking like he threw him to the ground and is just like slamming fists on him.
This is some part of Star Trek I don't think I know of because I don't think we've ever seen it. Are they equipped with any kind of Turrets?
the rooms are not. They would have to
Rooms are
drop
not.
force fields, and your security would have to subdue them, which that's not out of the question. If that's what you want to do,
Yeah, I'm
There's
gonna.
there's no
Uh,
full room like
no,
shock.
nope,
Bzzzt.
stop it,
Stop.
stop it.
I mean, it
like a
seems
water
like
hose
your
comes out of the
environmentals, you
ceiling or
could introduce
something.
something. I
And
mean, they put
Can
stuff in the air in all the episodes, but
can we
for sure.
beam? Can you beam the aggressor into a neighboring brig?
Possibly, you would need your engineer for that, or someone versed in. I mean, we could go get.
No, that's fine. That's just a
I'm
suggestion.
gonna order security to drop the main force field and to stun the one that's on top of the.
So a security team of like 6 comes in. One of them drops the force field. One of them stuns the guy attacking the other one, and the others hold their phasers on the others, who would just like back up and put their hands up like they don't want any part of this.
I am going to personally drag the stun one into another cell,
Sure.
and then I'm going to call the doctor for a medical emergency.
Ooh, you said medical emergency. A Mark III hollow doc pops up. Please state
Andy
the
Dick?
nature of the medical emergency.
Right there, Doc. You gotta. He was just
What is-
assaulted. Quite
What is this? What species is this? I don't recognize them.
Download from the computer.
Why didn't you update my data? I'm sorry. Of course, Commander. Okay, I will take care of this. Let's move him to another cell. He
Alright.
kind of motions for a couple of the security officers, and they pick him up and put him in another cell, like lay down on the bench, and he starts scanning him. He says, Commander, it looks like there's a couple of fractures and some breaks in the bones. There's definitely contusions, and I'm seeing a little bit of internal bleeding. This isn't something that isn't fixable. This is something we should be able to handle relatively easy. We will need to get him to sick bay.
Keep him sedated.
Of course.
And
Um,
I'll motion to a couple of the security to.
Oh,
go
it is
with
important to note that the Mark III
Uh-huh.
does not look like the Mark One. It is a totally different human guy.
It's not Robert Picardo.
No. No.
Well, now you got to pick a face.
Yeah.
It's Chris Evans.
Ooh. Yeah, with with the beard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll
Smart
be in
Chris
my bunk.
Evans. Glasses also.
Yeah.
See, I went to Hemsworth since he was already in Star Trek. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
we
but
need
he's
an
George Kirk. He's
Yeah.
he's old school.
I don't know. We're getting close to like dangerously evil Chris Evans. I mean, with the beard and I'm actually wearing with a turtleneck and.
Fair. That's
No,
fair.
only time he plays villains, he only has the mustache.
Yeah.
The beard is gone. So beard is good boy Chris Evans.
So yeah, the what I say, Jero? Yeah,
Laro.
Laro. That
Laro.
was close. Laro gets carted off. The other 3 that are still in the cell, like kind of spread out away from each other and sit back down, and they seem a little shaken.
What is her name? Not Valero. Valarin.
Nadira.
Nadira. Wow, not even close.
Valero.
What about the gas
He's
station?
just thinking about gassing up their ship, pointing them to a new horizon.
Before I talk, Lieutenant, I can only remember your first name.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, you can
Vic-
just call her
Ashley
Victra.
You just
Like
call
you
me.
have that power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you can
that's
just call
true.
me Victor.
All right, Lieutenant Victra. I
Yes,
need
sir?
you to review the record. I'm assuming there's cameras.
Yeah.
I need you to just review the recordings that happened just now in the cell. Tell me what you see.
So yeah, he pulls it up. You pull up the video. It's the exact same thing that I just described to them.
But more specifically, I want her to look for that confusion, the
Yeah.
rage,
It is like one moment Laro was fine and like a little bit of laughter, like just being friendly, and then there was a snap of some sort.
Can I do a quick like a sensor reading on that brig and see if like during that time there was some type of surge maybe that we couldn't see?
Good question. Yeah, you're gonna need to give me
This is the
Reas-
wrong rolls for me.
it is reason and science,
Okay.
which is not your
It's not
strong
my
suit.
strong suit. It's I'm rolling a 9 here.
It
Can
is
the
a
ship-
difficulty of 1. So
Oh.
like that.
Okay, so it's not too bad.
Can the ship?
And
Um,
we also are very capped on momentum.
Yeah,
like,
I
you
think
wanted
I'm gonna
spend more.
go ahead and buy 1
Okay.
die and
Nice.
spend that
Use it.
momentum. And thank God our complication range is still just 20. I rolled a 19. But I did get a 9, which is spot on for my reason science
Perfect.
roll.
I will let you know the answer to that roll in about 10 minutes because we're going to take a quick break, guys. So stretch your legs, hit the
John
restroom.
literally just stood up.
No.
Oh no!
Does it every time? It's
It's
all
like
right,
I
we're
can
good.
sense it.
It's like you can sense his headset coming off and sitting down.
John has left the room. Time to go.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. Don't forget to click the follow and subscribe button if you want to. Definitely hit the follow button. That's really important. But if you want to subscribe, that's great. A little bit of money coming back to the channel is helpful. And we will be back in right about 10 minutes. So we'll see you then. everybody, and welcome back to the Voyages of. Our episode this week is called From Heaven to Hell. Next week, we're going to be looking at some new fun stuff in an episode called Time is on Our Side. Don't know what that might be about, but you'll have another ally. It's time, right? Hey, we'll get right back into the action. So, Roxy, crap, remind me of the roll you just made. What it was for?
I made a sensors or a reason science roll to see if there were any kind of EMP or
Oh, yeah,
some
yeah, yeah,
other
yeah.
type of like power surge or pulse affecting
There.
the people in the brig.
So between in the brig and on that whole deck, you don't see anything. And as you kind of like scoot back and out, you don't see anything inside the ship. There is a like a tachyon trail that goes through the ship, but it's the tachyon concentration is so low that the ship wasn't affected.
But does it? Okay, I'm
And
going
it
to.
is clearly being generated, like something went through the ship and is leaving this trail because it's also degrading as it goes, if that makes sense.
Okay, I'm going to let the commander know, and well, I will let the entire senior staff know, but I will also mention this to Doc Rhombus. And I don't know, but I'll put like a little note as I send it out, like a little handwritten note at the bottom that says, "Could it doesn't affect the ship, but could it affect bird-like or avian
So
creatures?"
I would say from you would have some technical knowledge. Actually, you have a lot of technical knowledge with your engineering. Like it, there may be effects even on humans, but it would be so minuscule that it wouldn't matter. So like even other people on the ship might have been affected, but it's just like, oh, my skin tingles a little. Oh, it's gone. Like it's not a big
Yeah.
deal. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. Cosmic radiation's not perfect. It's actually pretty dangerous, and it just does
Right.
stuff.
Right. Okay.
So, actually, you get Commander, you get a hail from sickbay. Sir, we need to pull the engineering crew off the other ship immediately. There's no danger of them being. Just pull them off the ship. They need to be away from the Almar.
Almalorian.
That Almalorian as quickly as possible.
Including Commander Charlie. Is he in danger
Yeah,
as well?
everyone needs to come off of that ship.
Commander Perrin, Commander Charlie, please prepare to beam over immediately. The doctor is saying that it's not safe for you guys to be there.
But Captain or Commander, I'm right in the. Oh, all right.
This isn't. Yeah, no. Let's get back on the ship, get safe, and we'll figure out what's going on.
Does my tricorder detect anything strange happening?
No, not really. The only reason that Victra specifically found the tachyons is because like she was deep looking. If she told you about it, your tricorder could pick it up, but it's just like background radiation that you wouldn't have normally noticed. So yeah, you two beam back. The doc says, the doc requests all of you to come down to the sick bay.
Ooh, he's willing to treat us.
Aye, sir.
That was said out of character.
Charlie has a crush.
So the when you all get in sickbay, the doc has a force field around the patient. The patient is still sedated, and he has like a lot of medical scans up so he can look at them on displays. And he looks at the four of you and says, I'm gonna explain this as easy as I can. So this is what a normal Almalorian looks like. And you look at the scan and it looks fine. And he says, this is the scan I took from this guy. And it looks exactly the same. And he just sits there and waits for you to like make the. Okay, so all right. You'll notice here, and he like taps, and there is a portion of the heart that he taps in on, and you can see a small little, almost like a spur coming off of it. He says, "This, whatever this is, seems to be releasing enzymes into the body that, when they're targeted with tachyons, which thankfully the lieutenant pointed out, when they are hit by tachyons, release what is essentially a surge of adrenaline and also a surge of euphoria. So there's a confusion that comes over them, and whatever happens after that, were this on Earth, I would say would be some sort of psychotic break caused by these um, excretions.
So the normal Alamo,
It's all right. The normal.
We're all doing
aliens.
it.
they don't have that little spur, correct, Doc?
On all of the information they gave us, I don't see any. I'm guessing it is either a mutation or some sort of virus that would not be picked up by other scans. If the Almalorians are as far behind as they seem to be, they may not be able to see this.
Is it
Interesting.
removable? Should
I
someone
don't-
want it removed?
I don't know enough. I would want to confer with doctors from the Republic.
Can we reach out to the Republic and see if they're willing to send a medical team?
I would like to run a test, so to speak. If one of the refugees would be willing, I would like to replicate that tachyon pulse and see if it triggers the same response. Doc, I understand where you're coming from. I know you know your stuff, but if we can actually have
I mean,
concrete proof that
trial
we
and
can-
error is always a thing. That's good scientific principle. I'm behind that.
yeah, if we can replicate it and show the Prime Minister what's going on, there may be hope for relocating these people to an actual planet like they wish.
I would suggest that you be prepared to sedate them immediately, so that if their rage turns to harming themselves, they don't get far.
What would be the quickest drug that we could fill the cell with?
Phaser,
It would. No,
shoot them. Like it's pretty quick.
I was thinking something a little more humane, like poison
Anything
gas
gas-wise
or-
would take a few seconds. So as long as you're not concerned about damage done during that time, I can prep the environmental controls with anesthetic gas to knock them out.
I think we'll go that way rather than just keep shooting them with phasers.
I guess I can we not just, the one that's already here in sickbay, can we not just restrain him and prepare a
We could
hyperspray?
we could wake him. He might hurt himself in the restraints, but I can just knock him right back out.
I mean,
he's
we
still
can at least
restrained.
ask if he'd be interested in being a part of this test.
Well, isn't that the one that was injured and pummeled?
No, I thought we had the one that.
No, this
I
is
thought
the one
we
that's
all-
injured and pummeled. In
Oh,
the
okay. Oh, we don't have the one that did the injury and
No,
pump
he's back up in the brig.
in the brig.
Yeah, I don't want to do. I don't want to.
Well, then
don't
I
wanna-
think we should ask one of the ones that are not pummeled
Agreed.
to see if they would like to perhaps. We don't have to make any kind of like hollow promises, but we've noticed something interesting that may be affected by cosmic radiation. Would you submit to perhaps further investigation?
Commander Charlie, Commander Perrin, do you think you'd be able to replicate that tachyon pulse that Lieutenant Victor found?
Potentially, but it may take some time.
I think that we can put our heads together.
Let's do this. I want to run this test so we can contact the Prime Minister and blow their minds.
between the two of you, honestly, it's going to take you about
ill-timed euphemism.
25 minutes to set up a tricorder to give off the little bit of tachyons that would be needed. It shouldn't take, it really would not take a whole lot, because it's just, yeah.
Just
We
a
don't have
little-
to invert the phase emitters or the,
Nope. Nope.
the deflector grid.
Dang
was
it, I
it that
wanted to
was
say technobabble.
What was the one that was always in like every episode of Voyager? They call about? Are they like? There's some type of time particle or something. I feel like.
Tachyons.
Tachyons, yeah.
It wasn't just tachyon. There's like a
Oh,
Chronometric.
chronometric
yep.
radiation or something like that. They're
Yeah.
constantly throwing out chronometric, and I'm like, chill out, Kim. Okay,
That's
They
why he
don't-
was never promoted.
They don't have time to chill out.
they don't have time to chill out. All their chronometric particles are floating around willy nilly.
Yeah, between the two of you guys, like rocks to replicators, all of your focus is like you both are going to be fine.
Cool.
So,
Let's go zap a bird.
so you guys, Charlie and Perrin head down for 20 minutes to engineering to whip something up, and then meet you guys in the brig.
And while they're getting that taken care of, we'll go and talk to them and let them know that we think we figured out what was going on, and we need a volunteer for a test.
Nadira kind of steps forward and says, "I'm confused. I wasn't expecting you to do. We just want a place to live."
This may be something that could clear your name. This was something outside of your control.
You
Our
can't clear
doctor-
my name. I killed 3 people.
I know, but it wasn't your fault.
It may not have been your fault.
Well, whatever you're going to do it to me.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Do you
We're gonna
consent to
put-
being restrained?
Whatever you need to do. If this is going to help my people in any way, even if it's you don't find anything, but still help us find a place, whatever you need, I will do it.
All right. We're gonna get, I don't know, some kind of creepy ass lab chair to strap her into.
Computer, one creepy lab chair.
Computer, you know that thing that Jordy was strapped to when they were dissecting the?
No. It wasn't that episode where they were just on a holodeck and they're like, make a chair with a creepy thing on it. Okay,
Yeah,
now
that's
make it creepier. Like,
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid Romulans.
We do a bit better, We've got regular chairs. Also, the med bay can restrain people to a medical bed.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought there was a way to strap them in.
Okay.
Are you wanting to remove their arms at the same time we're doing this test?
I mean, you got exact payment, right?
All right.
Like-
We'll
like Nadira's
escort
just
her
like, I
down
don't
to
want
sick bay and strap her in.
Yeah, you guys get down to sick bay. Can I get, let's say, a control engineering role from Perrin? Charlie, you can assist.
Yay!
Quantum mechanics is
Control.
going to apply for you, Charlie.
Okay. Control and engineering.
Yeah.
how
My
many
study is
successes do we need?
wonton.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a
burrito
difficulty of 3.
meal. Oh, yeah. I get 1 die because I'm assisting, and I crit.
Fantastic.
And do we need to scan her just to make sure she has the same anomaly? I don't want to look like.
Oh, no, the doctor already, the doctor, as soon as you brought him in, was like, bloop.
Okay. Look, there's the spike.
I got 2 successes.
Okay, so there's your 3. Fantastic. Yeah, so you enact or turn on the pulse, and she, again, that face of rage and confusion comes up. She strains for a second before the doctor just sedates her.
Well, I think we have our proof now.
I will monitor the enzymes in her blood, and as soon as they have calmed down, I'll rewake her. But it shouldn't take but a few minutes.
Okay. Once you do, call security, escort her back to the cell with the others, and we're going to go contact the Prime Minister.
Oh, hey, look at that threat. Thank you,
Rude.
Sergeant Wolf.
I mean, we love you. We love our.
No, listen, I got.
You got another one a little while ago too.
Yeah, I got
Laney
that. So I'm at 10 now, I think. No, I'm
You're
at
at
11 now.
Yeah.
Look at
so,
that.
Laney.
Look at the
Laney
polycube coming in.
1824. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a partner and a metamor. Haha. Fantastic. So, yeah, you guys, you're headed to the bridge, Commander. Is that right?
Yes, I'm going to head up to the bridge, contact the Prime Minister about the situation, about what we found, Now you're going to spend 15 thread. I'm going to fall down the turbo lift and die an inglorious death.
I only have 11, so it's just the warp core. No, so you get to the bridge. You're going to hail Almalorian Republic. Those are the
Yeah.
words.
Yes. Yes.
In regards to the refugees, so it gets kicked up to the Prime Minister.
It's a couple minutes, and then Elrin gets you get a. Oh yes, please wait. Oh hey, don't do that.
Who was
All right.
Dameron? Was that the engineer guy?
Dameron's the engineer. Yeah. I guess I should write that in there too. Yeah, it's a couple minutes to get the Prime Minister on the phone, and then he comes on and says, "Yes, Commander, how can I help you?"
So, we have been recently in contact with one of your exiled ships.
Is everything okay? They haven't caused any issues, have they?
No, they're no threat to us whatsoever.
Okay. Okay.
They are. Nadir is the leader of that ship and is requesting for a planet to call home.
That is not something that we could do, but if that's something the Federation wanted to do, I see no issue.
Well, things have changed a little bit. We have found that her crew, and I'm sure some of the others, have a mutation in their heart. It looks like a tiny thorn. And when exposed to a very specific tachyon emission, throws them into a rage.
So what do you? I don't understand what you're saying.
So let me show you, and I'll play the video of the test that we performed on Nadir. Before and after, they show that she's calm, she's reasonable, she's da 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 da, and then when we hit the tachyon pulse, she goes into the rage.
Okay. And he leans around the camera, and waves his hand to cut, and the audio goes out as he is clearly talking to somebody, and there's several exchanges of sentences before he kind of leans back and the audio comes back on and he says, that is what is the next step then?
The next step is maybe reopening these cases.
Do you think that there are more people on our planet with this? You called it a mutation, correct?
Some sort of, for lack of a better word.
And neither one of us are doctors. I couldn't tell you the percentage of the population that has it, but I could guess on the number of people that you're yearly convicting of murder that falls into this. A small percentage.
Commander, you talked a lot about the Prime Directive while you and your captain were here. I don't know if it violates your Prime Directive, but I would like to request the Serenitis come to our planet and show us how to find this, if that's possible.
We were actually, the doctor was hopeful that perhaps a medical team from your republic could join us on the Serenitis to scan and show what they're seeing.
I can I can dispatch a ship. It may be a couple of hours to get the right doctors together. I want to make sure we send you our best minds.
Yeah, our doctor is unwilling to try and remove it. Simply put, we don't have enough experience with your species physiology.
That's understandable. Yes, I will send. We will send a ship with our doctors.
Halfway.
Excellent. That would be. Commander, I don't know what this will mean for our planet, but this has huge implications, and I appreciate your ship's effort in this.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to resolve this. I mean, they know that they did something that can't be corrected, but they weren't exactly in their right mind.
And it's possible that the parliamentary house will not allow them back on the planet, but if we have this maybe we can stop from sending anyone else out there.
Or at the very least, help them find a planet with some resources that they could live on, which
I
they're willing to do.
if I will speak to my cabinet.
Is there going to be any issues if we come back into Almalorian space with these refugees with us?
Oh no, no. I will make sure that that this is understood as a situation that's developing, and we need to set aside some security concerns. I assume that we can rely on the Serenitis to provide security specifically for the Almalorians you have on your ship.
Of course.
Excellent.
I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Valen out. So,
At risk of sounding like Lieutenant Irax, that was incredibly easy.
yeah, I have to admit that that seems a little too good to be true, but
Too
But
easy, yeah.
I'm excited for the possibility of too easy. I just am also wary.
no, I think we should be because I couldn't. Matt, when do they have like normal? I mean, slightly elongated beak features.
Not super elongated, but like a little more, just a little bit. Yeah.
So when he was talking muted, did he convey excitement, dismay?
Oh,
Like,
he
oh
is
shit, they
concerned.
found out.
He is very concerned.
Okay,
I
cool.
would think my concern is the fact that tachyons, while technically may be considered a normal part of physics, their interaction with our level of reality is like, unnatural. And therefore, whatever is causing this disease, this does not strike me as a naturally occurring phenomenon. And while they could just be the victims of some random plague that's afflicted them, it's a very specific disease. Normally, tachyon-based diseases involve cellular decay, at extremes, travel through time. This is something that is specifically causing a rage effect and is afflicting specific members of society. I know this seems paranoid on my part, and I'm prepared to be wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. I just think that an abundance of caution might
Well,
be is called for.
well, Commander, given their level of technology, do you think this is something that the government has done?
Who's to say? I mean, we've seen their technology, what that they've brought towards us. I mean, I don't know. There's
I
too
mean,
many variables right now.
could we do
And
something like
again,
that
could we
with
do
our
something
level?
like that?
Yeah, with our level of technology, could we do that to say a human?
Absolutely. But it would be a highly specialized endeavor that would take decades of preparation experimentation.
I feel like the simpler question is to what end would, and again, this goes back to why we don't have enough information.
Nope. And we're on our way to get more information, and I want everybody to keep their eyes open for, I hate to say it, a trap.
Can we keep a scan for tachyon anything? I mean, that might be too generalized, but whatever we saw that affected him, since there are still several people confined in one area.
I'd also like to work on tachyon shielding.
Ooh, yeah, especially around the cells.
Handle it, Parrot.
So, are you guys going all the way back to Almalorian?
I figure we could meet them halfway
Halfway.
if they mustered a ship and if they're 2 hours away from where our position, I'm hoping we can meet them in an hour.
Well,
Can
we're
you-
not going
are
to go too
you-
fast because we're going to tow the ship.
Okay, there. That was my next question.
fine.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll have to keep warp a little low, which isn't a big deal because towing a ship
mean,
through warp can
They
get.
can't go very fast either.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you're gonna go faster than they do, but like warp 4 is probably the best way to do it, so you don't strain anything. But in an hour, you meet up with a Almalorian ship named Hale. Captain or Commander, we have a crew of 12 doctors that we would like to beam
Do they?
aboard?
So do they beam or do they shuttle over?
No, they're ready to beam.
Okay.
Um, yes, just let them know that when they do beam aboard, our doctor is going to perform the same scan that he's done on our other guests, just
Of
to
course.
see if there's anyone with that issue.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's perfect. So the doctors beam over. They meet Rhombus. That's a whole thing.
I'm
That's
sure.
gonna happen over there. But yeah, it's a few hours, and Doctor Rhombus comes to the bridge. While I would say probably everybody but Perrin are on the bridge. Oh, and Charlie, you're probably down helping make like shielding for tachyons and such. That's the not science officer thing to do. So Doctor Rhombus comes on the bridge and sits down in his chair because somehow he gets a chair. I don't know.
And he's like, he looks totally like put upon. Like
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
imagine
Like
he just like sits down like Al Bundy and is like,
puts his hand right in his pants.
yeah. No, because they're wearing onesies. No, they're wearing the DS9 onesies.
That's right. That's right. And he says, Commander, I would almost say, uh, I would almost use a human term in that their technology is medieval for what they can do. Of the 12 doctors, none of them have this mutation. But now that they've shown me kind of some of the specs that they have, I'm going to guess that there's some sort of virus that affects a small portion of their population that causes this mutation, and then the mutation is affected by tachyons.
So, does this mutation happen at birth, or does it
No,
happen
it
as they
happens
grow?
once they're adults,
Something
They
they're
get whatever
exposed to.
virus.
and they have no way to detect the virus or to be even aware that people have it. I'm going to have to guess that because there's been no outbreak or any kind of pandemic, that the virus doesn't have any outward signs, or if it does, it looks like, I don't know, the bird flu on Earth.
I just said I was avoiding. I was avoiding the bird
That
flu.
timing, yeah.
You can't put words up there in front of me and me
And then
not read
it
them.
just came out. Yeah.
It seems like maybe they would feel sick for a couple of days at most, and then they wouldn't have any other symptoms.
So, it could
I
be
mean,
a strain of their cold that could be
it
kicking us
could
off.
be a completely foreign. But I've spoken with Commander Perrin and Commander Charlie. Like tachyons should not. This isn't natural occurrence, so something is happening on the planet that we
Yeah.
need to look into.
I'm going to go ahead and just configure our sensors before we get close to the ship, but also in case we get to the planet, something more specialized to look for these tachyon particles.
Sure, sure.
And is anyone sick?
Are any of those doctors coughing, sneezing?
I would have to guess, honestly, with how different their physiology is, I don't think that we could catch it, or at least the majority of the crew couldn't catch it. Some of our more avian species may be able to, but it's also
try to-
something I can see and I can fix.
Even though Charlie probably doesn't have it, he's still going to be like, gonna scan myself. Just okay. In the clear. In the clear. He's turning into Reginald Barkley at a frightening pace.
Oh no! Oh no!
Gonna come down to the hall today because he's just got wires coming out of his head. We're all screwed.
So there's nothing that we could do to help refugees that are
Oh
currently
no,
with
I can
us.
correct it. I might even be able to teach the doctors here to correct it. I'm not sure. I'd have to give them some technology, and I'm not sure where that's going to fall on the Prime Directive.
That could
it-
be something we can discuss later. If we can prove
It also might be
correction.
better to just request a medical ship from Starfleet. In the long run, to correct that mutation, and I believe the numbers that I read were 2,500 people, and to make sure that no one else on the planet has it, 9 billion people is a lot. If we don't want to hand over technology, which is understandable,
Mhm.
it is a long-term commitment that we're giving them to help them fix this. But
It
again,
will.
that's Admiral stuff. I'm just here to make sure you people don't die from stuff.
No, we appreciate that. Yeah, I will kick that up the chain of command. I will advise Captain Halata that we need to contact Starbase
Gamma 1.
Gamma One. I had Gamma. Starbase Gamma One for
Starbase Gamma, the first one. I don't remember what the first one that comes around.
uh contact Gamma. Talking.
You're fine.
Just talk through it, Sean.
Yeah, I know. We'll contact Captain Halata will contact Gamma One and ask the Admiral to send out medical ships because this is something that we can help and we could improve the lives of these refugees as well because that's what I'm going to call them now.
Understandable. I'm going to go back down to sick bay. I'm going to correct unless there's a reason not to. I'm going to fix the Almalorians we have on this ship and get the engineer from the other ship and get him fixed too.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay. Assuming they all, give appropriate, permission and whatnot, consent.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're not going to correct them against their will, but
And he heads off the bridge.
I guess we should lay in a course to the planet if that's where we're going.
Already done.
Make it so.
Unless you want me to roll for it.
No. We're not worried about that.
Put it in reverse. Go back.
So you warp towards the planet. Charlie and Perrin, what are you trying to put together engineering wise?
Well, the first thing is if it's something that we know that it's triggered by tachyon particles, I suppose we're just going to be enhancing a biosensor that will actually look for something similar for testing people on the planet. And then the other project we're going to be only doing with the engineering crew is actually like just some sort of altering our long range scanners to essentially look for tachyon particles on the planet. Because there has to be something literally planet side that would expose them to this. And to me, that almost suggests something is wrong with their core.
Sure. You spend another hour and a half in warp, just towing the ship big shield slower. As you come out of warp, Charlie, I need you to give me a reason science. It's going to be a difficulty of 5.
Oh no. Reason science. That's pretty good for me. Will quantum mechanics be involved at all?
Sure, well, we'll say they do. It is.
And then, sorry, what?
I was asking if the ship could help.
Yeah, absolutely. The ship can help with sensors and science, which is a 13.
And then I'm going to use a point of momentum, and I'm using my cautious science because I need all the help I can get.
That puts us down to 4.
It's still looking pretty long. If anybody else wants to help me or man the ship,
I rolled a 1, so for the
there's
ship.
2, so you only need 3.
And you have a reroll.
Only need 3. Oh, cool. I might need that reroll. So, initial roll, go. Not great. We're going to use that reroll on that 20 because. All right, we're close. We're at 4. We are at 4. Come on, come on, come on. We are only at 4.
Fantastic. As you come out of warp and you start scanning the planet, you are getting multiple pings of tachyon energy coming from below the surface, kind of all over the world.
Oh.
Was there any pattern?
Yes, they seem to be. I'm not sure how to imagine a soccer ball, but replace it with a world, and each one of the hexagons, you're seeing like the pinpoint of each one of those. So they're all equally spaced, and they all give an effect that doesn't touch the others, but they meet. So basically, underneath the surface of the planet, there's a tachyon bubble.
Grid.
Yeah.
some type of array that is. What
Clearly,
do we know
objection
about their
structure.
power sources? Could they possibly be using tachyon or something that emits tachyon
Nothing in their
particles?
technology suggests that they are using tachyon, and this is a little bit below what you were led to believe they had mined down to.
Oh, interesting. What if
They
some prehistoric Almalorian race developed technology that created this grid work and that has caused the evolution of this people, but the original race died out? I'm just saying.
I like this theory. Um,
we would have
Charlie, you're on the bridge scanning, correct?
to. Correct.
Perrin, are you also on the bridge, like kind of helping with the scanning and like reading over the data, or are you in the engineering?
I'm probably in engineering, working
Fantastic.
on solutions for what we're going to do.
I'm going to spend 4 threat.
Oh,
As I do, 2 Davidians show up on the bridge. Davidians are a species that is outside of space and time that goes back into the past and to suck the life out of people. If you remember the Mark Twain episodes of Star Trek, those were Davidians.
oh my God. Yeah, I was about to say, wow. Wait, do they look like humanoids, or they look like literally just
They look like
colon
that
heads?
flashy white and black, not here but also here kind of thing.
Oh,
Red
yeah,
alert.
the very Lovecraftian people, yeah.
Yeah, and your whoever's filling in for your chief of security is immediately like attacked with a beam and drops.
Charlie is gonna stand to a little bit, but he's gonna look at them, and Charlie, being obsessive over occult lore, would know who these people are,
Sure.
and just be like, "What are you doing here?"
Our planet, our food, leave.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh no.
For
Charlie's
are all of you familiar with these particular aliens? Okay, so and that's fine. So they basically they feed off of the life source of other things, but they are time travelers, which give off a lot of tachyons. They were found in a very small cave on Davidia 2, which is why they're called Davidians. But they were beaming themselves back to Mark Twain times in San Francisco and giving people what seemed like cholera. Because they would suck enough of their life force out that it would seem like cholera to that era of medicine.
Is that the episode they met Guinan before Guinan knew them?
That's when you meet Guinan before Guinan. Yeah.
Charlie, Matt, so real quick, Charlie would know a lot about the species, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Charlie's immediately going to be like, "Everybody with a phaser, lower it now." They are unstable tachyon beings. Energy weapons will cause them to explode.
The one of them steps kind of towards the commander and says, "Warning given," and they both disappear.
Charlie, what the hell was that?
That was a Davidian, and we have a huge problem.
Are they responsible for this?
It would seem so. We know very little about their technology, but we do know they are extremely dangerous.
So how far back do we need to back off away from the planet before they wouldn't consider us a threat while we reassess?
We should probably stop here.
Yeah, and honestly, with the Federation's understanding of the Davidians, you don't know what their sensor range is capable of.
Okay.
They may not be able. They can see you here, but they may not be able to see you over there. You just don't know where over there, how far away that is.
Or from how long ago they're looking.
Correct. And it's also possible that that the shields may stop them from popping back on the ship, or not. That information is not in the packet.
Well, wouldn't hurt. Shields up.
Something about their technology, and Charlie's punching up, the incidents pretty much. Their technology is not only not understood, but their energy source is unstable. there's a chance that a sufficient amount of explosive force or energy weapons will cause it to detonate, which could destroy a planet.
This is just getting better and better. So, what is... I'm looking at Commander Charlie. So, what is the Federation's stance when we come across these?
I'm not sure.
It's
To be honest,
extreme caution.
It's like above our pay grade kind of decision at this point.
I mean, according to Starfleet records, the Enterprise D fired photon torpedoes on them. So it's not
I like your run to Memory Alpha to get the information. I appreciate
Yeah,
that a lot.
I wanted to remember. I don't remember the episode, so I wanted to look at what they look like. They're cocoon people again.
Yeah, it's this is also the one where we get Data's head from the past, which is also in the future. So his head is actually older than the rest of his body,
That's right.
which always bothered me as a kid so much.
They're nasty looking too. They are.
Yeah.
Their bodies are essentially like maggot-like, like texture, but they have the one hole on their forehead that they eat out of.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, they're not great. They. Yeah.
So I'm guessing it would rile them up if we alerted the Prime Minister to this development.
The problem is that they are essentially time travelers, which means that they look at any action we could do both in advance, and with surprise. They are probably well aware of what our actions could be. It's only through rash actions that they can kind of be taken by surprise. The problem is, if this is one of their feeding grounds, we don't know how many of them are on the planet already.
Can we figure that out from the number of tachyon emissions? Could that be?
Oh, actually, you see Charlie kind of like jump up and starts tapping furiously on a keyboard. There may be a way for us to determine how many are on the planet, but I'm going to need God, this is me, the player, thinking this. I need a Phase 7 discriminator that I can plug into the main sensor array.
Hey, no, this is the Federation. We don't discriminate. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Except against leech people.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
Or those little bugs that live in Trapper Keepers from season 1.
Oh, yeah.
So looking quickly at the scans, because sensors on the ship are always active. Looking at those scans and comparing them with the scans that you have from the Enterprise D, it's possible that you could put together a way to detect them.
I think that's our first priority.
Charlie's going to start working on the sensor array.
Can you give me... Let's go with control and engineering.
No.
And Perrin, you can assist. Quantum mechanics will... we'll say astrophysics, but still you can crit. It will apply.
Charlie's definitely going to need more momentum for this.
That's fine. Is there already a assist on this?
Perrin's probably going to assist because he's got the... Yeah. This is going to be a difficulty of 4. And you have 4 momentum. And you can always give me more threat. Just a reminder.
I know. You used 1, correct? 1 momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I'm gonna use
Here
my
we
reroll.
go. Oh, not bad, but only 2 successes.
Do I get any of my focuses?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, we'll say yeah. That's fine. We'll say warp field dynamics kind of... You bring the warp engines into it somehow. Because engineers are weird. You're jury rigging that crap.
That's right. Then I have 2 successes.
Okay. So then, yeah, you can detect them. You're not sure that you can do it through the entirety of the planet. You may have to pass around it, if that makes sense.
Oh, to do a scan?
Yeah. It will not go through the core or some of the I don't remember. You get the crust, the mantle. Some of the lower mantle it won't go through, so it's going to block some of it. But if you fly around the planet, it should let you see some more.
So you want us to circumnavigate the globe?
There you go.
We're gonna
With-
Michelle that stuff.
with the big flashlight that we're just like searchlighting over the. It's a big
Yeah,
black light
the-
to see if they fluoresce.
Yeah, the Enterprise grows this giant arm and a flashlight. Just
Black light.
Exactly, go gadget flashlight.
and it's just like a black light.
Yeah, and we're just
Yep.
seeing if they fluoresce. All of a sudden, there's these little
Yep.
blue humanoids
Yeah.
appearing everywhere. We're like,
So scanning the planet and going around it relatively quickly, because you're on a little bit of a time limit. What you come up with is there's probably 500 Davidians around that number. The majority of them, the life signs are very, very weak.
Weird. I mean, one, that's more Davidians than Picard even encountered.
Mhm.
But two, their life signs are weak. That's the interesting part.
yeah, if it's a whole planet full of food, what's going on?
Yeah, what's keeping them from eating their.
Maybe they're just hangry, is why they came up here. Or like,
Wait.
"Oh, final warning.
need a Snickers."
If their life signs are weak, I'm going to try to modulate like the spectrum for the sensors, and I'm going to determine if when it says suggests weak, does it mean weak or does it mean young?
Oh no, it means weak.
Okay, so weak. But why would they be weak if they're able to feed off this planet? And it suggests they've been doing so for a long time. That's weird.
Poultryology?
Charlie, what does your encyclopedic knowledge do? It just gives you a focus.
Yeah, I can spin a point of momentum, and I can choose one focus I don't have for the rest of the session.
Maybe now is the time to do that for Davidians.
Oh, I'm going to do that then. Boom.
So that'll put us at 2. And then, so why don't you go ahead and roll reason and science, and your anthropology applies.
Reason and science. All right. What blue can do, we can too. That is 2 crits.
Oh, there you go. I didn't even tell you what the difficulty was, but that's more than enough to get you guys back to 4 momentum. That's not a 4, that's a 1. There you go.
Boom.
So, looking at what you've got in front of you is you've got essentially a giant bubble around inside the planet. The Davidians came up here. They were aggressive, but not aggressive. Like, this is not their normal actions. It's possible that whatever is generating that bubble is intended to keep them inside, and they have not been able to feed. And some of them have been able to slip through quote-unquote cracks, but this is also tachyon weirdness, so who knows?
So, if I understand this correctly, before I share this with the crew, is it almost like the planet is a giant prison?
Or that they have been trapped here. Almost like the tachyons are creating a time lock.
Charlie, after looking at his tricorder and looking incredibly confused, will then be like, aha! So, I think these Davidians, they're trapped on this planet. Something about the planet's core and the tachyon field it's emitting, it may have trapped these Davidians on the planet and they're unable to escape. That's why they're so weak. They're unable to feed in the numbers that they would like to.
Obviously, they're not all trapped, though.
Some have been able to escape.
I wanted to see if I could scan the previous patterns and with this additional knowledge of the technology to see if, can I figure out, here's where, there's a gap or whatever, or flaws in the system?
Yeah, that's going to be a reason science. None of your folks supply.
Can the ship assist?
The ship absolutely can assist. It's going to be sensors and science.
That's a
Difficulty is
9.
3.
That's a 1 success for me.
There you go.
Can I buy a die?
Ooh, that'll put you down to 3.
That is 3 successes.
Total or just from you?
Just from me. So
Okay, so that'll put you back up to 4.
Yeah.
Momentum. Fantastic. So after like a quicker, like a more look-see scan, I don't know how else to put that, a more intricate scan,
A more
you are seeing,
exhaustive scan.
yeah, there you go.
Oh,
You
more
are not
focused, yeah.
seeing any cracks in the tachyons, but you are seeing subspace fractures in some places that do not affect now.
Wait, so is this like the prison fractures in the future, but the cracks are going back in time?
Or fractures in the past and they come forward. They do not affect now, but you can see almost like an echo.
Man, Charlie, as much as he studies quantum mechanics, hates time travel. um,
It's a
so
wibbly
it would
wobbly
appear
feeling.
at some point the prison will break, and the cracks are already forming, but the cracks have gone to the current era, and that is how some of the Davidians are escaping. So either the Davidians escape in the past or they escape in the future, but they've not all escaped yet. And I think I need to get some aspirin. I'm going to go to med bay real quick.
Yeah, yeah. Victra like reaches under her console and pops a couple Excedrin, and it's an Excedrin hypo spray that you just see her go, psh, and then go
Charlie's
back to playing
installed
this
Garrick's
shit.
implant. Just
Um, so
Go.
from a quick look, Perrin, you think that there is potential for you using the deflector array to send out a pulse that will disrupt the subspace cracks, fissures. That's the word I use, fissures. That would restabilize the tachyon field. But you don't know what that's going to do to the populace, given that the tachyons are affecting them the way they are.
Can't say is that I recommend doing this, Commander, but
Well, I mean, before we do anything, we have to alert the Prime Minister of what's going on, the danger they're in, and whether he thinks it's worth the risk.
We
that
could
may cause them to react to the threat in their midst, and we don't know how that's going to happen on a planetary scale.
we could just suggest they relocate the entire populace.
F this planet, we're gone.
I mean, we really can't pin down the spatial or temporal location of the Davidians. So yeah, burn the planet from space.
There is a way, but it would take a while. We would have to just to determine their exact frequency, but we don't even know where to begin with that.
It's just like a little AM/FM dial. We just sit and.
oh wait, I lost count. I gotta start over again.
Back to 88.5.
Unless it's serious, then you can't even scan for that.
Yeah. We're nowhere near the star Sirius, okay?
Yeah, that's like way over on the other side of the galaxy.
I mean, I understand that telling them they could respond poorly, but we were also just basically told that they are nothing but a food source to this other race.
Or worse comes to worse, we
Just
tell them, they're like,
concerning.
oh, yeah, we know about them.
Well, if they know about them, then we leave.
Can we
different
ask
problem.
the doctor what his best estimation of it would be? And he's just gonna be like, "That's outside my pay grade. Get out of my face!" Or
Damn it, Perrin, I'm a doctor, not a time scientist. You don't have to laugh at that. It's okay.
No, I was laughing at that because that was my favorite talent with my last character. It was, I'm a doctor, not a. And then you
Yeah.
could use your medical roles for.
I'm a doctor, not a time lord.
well, that's
Wrong
all over the
franchise.
place.
You
Don't
cross the
worry.
streams.
Doctor Who shows up, saves out the whole world. Don't worry about it. It's good.
I mean, yeah, we call the doctor? I
It
mean,
legit happened on another Star Trek show that I used to watch. I'm pretty sure they had a crossover with their Doctor Who cast.
Nice.
Nice.
Commander, what do you want to do?
That's why I wear the pips.
Yep.
Um,
When I said, hey, these are the positions open. Who wants to be first officer? And you went, me.
Yep. First things first, we need to let the prime minister and his government know what is going on. Um,
Well, let's role play that. So you hail the planet.
hail the
Yes,
planet.
Commander. What can I do for you?
Um, well, we have some disconcerting news.
Again?
We found the source of
Always.
probably what is causing this mutation in your population.
Oh, so like real quick, it is not causing the mutation. The mutation is just happening.
Oh,
That is a separate issue from the Davidians. I want to make sure that
the tachyon
yeah.
source is what's triggering them. That's what the
Yeah.
tachyon source.
Yeah.
Okay, so rewind.
Sure. Yeah.
We know where the tachyon sources are coming from on your planet that's triggering this mutation in your population.
Okay.
It is a species of beings that live outside of time called Davidians, and they've laid claim to your planet as a.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Commander. I'm a lot of things, and smart is one of them. But this is not my wheelhouse.
Going
What
to
is what is it you are suggesting?
what we're suggesting is there is no easy solution at this point. These are extremely volatile, dangerous species. They are made of. Commander Charlie, can you relay what you said to us about their nature and dealing with them?
To put it in layman's terms, they are invisible beings that could be next to you right now and you wouldn't even know about it, and they are feeding on your souls.
I meant
Okay,
more
so what do you
about
want
if
to do?
I was talking more about if you shot them, what would happen?
Oh, if you try to destroy their enclaves, there's a chance they could explode, which would blow up your planet.
Oh, you shouldn't do that then. Was that your suggestion, Commander?
No.
Okay.
So our scans show that the tachyon emissions form a prison that is keeping most of them contained, and they're weak, and hopefully will eventually die off. I don't believe we have an estimate on the time that would take. There are cracks in the prison that are allowing some of them escape to have free range on your planet. We could reinforce the prison, but that would also possibly trigger that mutated population in greater numbers than you've ever seen.
And we don't know what that level of mutation looks like because we haven't had a chance to look into it.
Correct. They've already threatened to us that this is their planet, their food, and they will not be trifled with. I don't know that this is something that we need to make a decision on now. They've been with you for quite a while.
Commander Charlie, right? Yeah, that is your designation. Would you classify them more as higher intelligent beings or as animals, or even animalistic instinct?
I would say that they are possessed of instinct because they just wish to feed and survive, but they do not have morals like we do. They view all other beings as a potential food source. As for their technology, they are clearly advanced. They use a form of biological machinery, which is capable of manipulating time and also to be used as weapons.
So if you're here, is it possible that their reaction would be much like a cornered predator?
Yes.
I don't think we can just let them sit.
So, do you want us to reinforce their prison?
Do you have any idea what the chance is that it'll cause a catastrophic problem?
In the mutation?
For the planet? Let's start there.
Never tell them the odds.
I do not believe in Commander Charlie and Commander Perrin. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I do not believe there's going to be any danger to your planet. It is more to the population.
and
The
I can't.
danger's still.
Yeah.
The danger's still great. I mean, even if we let them remain, their numbers will grow.
And so, what is your solution for stopping this?
Have you ever
We
considered a new planet?
Move. That's all you gotta do.
Just move.
beyond that,
Just
You're all
to get the
exiled
galactic
now.
U-Haul.
we honestly don't necessarily fully understand everything that is going on here, but we understand enough that we believe that we can undo the jailbreaking that is or was happened.
Or
That
has
we
yet
can
to.
contain them. Yes.
But again, that has the implications of setting off like a high
So I
percentage of
could
your.
set off a percentage or randomly through however long it takes us to figure out how to fix this without the Federation. They could be set off at any time.
Well, I think at this point you're going to have the full Federation assistant.
But if they're going to respond like cornered predators, this is going to get dangerous for all of us.
It will, yes.
I think that sealing the prison is the best option.
I concur.
I would agree, but that was your decision, Prime Minister.
Of course. What do you need from us?
Without causing planet-wide hysteria, trying to limit people's contacts, maybe a curfew to get people off the streets, whatever you can do to assist in that way to minimize the mayhem, that might help mitigate things.
Well, I mean, do we have to? Does this have to become common knowledge that this is occurring? Is it going? I guess my question is it going to be noticeable enough? And two, does it require using tachyons to restabilize the grid that is already on the planet? And should we identify people with whom or who might be affected that carry this mutation?
I mean, if the Prime Minister is willing to wait for medical ships, science vessels to come out here without antagonizing the Davidians, then perhaps.
To some degree, I think we have to trust them to manage their population in the best
way
manner that they can. We certainly need to make sure that they're thinking of the things that we know to think of from our experience, but
I think that's good advice.
So you're gonna use the deflector to seal the subspace fissures.
As best we can.
Oh,
All right,
was that the Prime Minister or was that you asking?
No, that's Matt asking.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, Perrin, I need you to roll control and engineering. Either the ship can assist with structure and engineering, which is a 13, or Charlie can assist with the control and engineering. The difficulty is 6. Quantum mechanics will apply. And also,
composure.
I'd honestly say I don't know about composure, but I'm winging it might apply as your value because you're kind of winging it.
If Charlie has a focus that could.
Oh, Charlie has the quantum mechanics.
Okay, then it might be better than the ship roll. I don't know what your value is, Charlie. If it's higher than a 13.
Determination. That's the best regard.
Does my talent, would that help them in any way with the role? It's command.
Which talent? I'm sorry.
Bold command, or is that only applied?
No. That'd be when you roll.
Okay.
Mine is a 14.
Okay,
so I think
you have a better chance than the ship does.
All right. So yeah, I will use. I'm winging it in the determination to get to
Okay, that leaves
Oh.
4 that you guys need to get.
I'll buy
you have
a die.
Okay, that'll put you at 3.
Charlie is really upset that we're discovering, obscure, unknown civilization, and of course they're evil because he wants to know more about them, but they're evil. Really, that's unfair to Charlie.
I think
Ignore
they're
the
just
people die.
grumpy. They might
That's-
just be grumpy.
They're
It's
just
as though I
hangry.
invited Sarah on the stream just to torture her.
Not fair.
Yeah, really, they've been just eating poultry for a millennium. They're angry.
I would be.
Phil, given that this is a pretty big roll, I might buy that second point of momentum, or buy that second dice and put you down to 1 momentum. Like, this would be the time to probably do that.
I agree.
All or nothing.
So
We
go
don't
ahead and
wanna-
roll them.
We don't want to blow the prison open.
So none of my focus is applied. Is that right?
That is correct.
I just had the most horrible thought, but I'm not sharing it because I don't want Matt to know what my thought is
That's
and act on it.
that's smart. That's wily gameplay.
So I only rolled 2 off my
Okay.
4 dice.
Oh,
Okay. So you fire the pulse, and while you do that, you watch with sensors. The fissures close.
Yay!
And the rest of my threat, there's a feedback in the deflector dish, and the planet disappears from in front of you, and you are in space with nothing around, which is a good place for us to end this week here on the Voyages of. So thank you guys for watching. Please come back next week. This could be, a little bit of a cliffhanger. I don't know. Maybe I had that planned for a little bit, and then they rolled right, and I didn't have to finagle it.
yeah.
Charlie didn't blow up a planet, everyone. Just putting that
That
out
you're
here.
aware
I did
of.
not blow up
No,
the
you
planet.
There's
just
still the
David
future
Copperfield
and
the planet.
possibly the past.
So for the record, I also rolled a 20, but you've already cliffhanged it. Ha
No, I was waiting for a 20, or if you guys to feel the roll. Like, either way, that made it so I didn't have to finagle too hard. But now it's
David
great.
Copperfield, a planet.
Hey, so next episode might be a time travel episode called "A Time Is on Our Side," and you guys should all come back next week. Don't forget, you can follow and subscribe if you want. If you have a free subscription from Amazon Prime, they're going away eventually. But if you want to give it to us in the meantime, that'd be great. Thank you to all of my players for all of this. It has been fantastic. I know that I've drug you through the mud, and you don't trust my. What do you mean a portion of the populace is showing up and asking us questions? That's probably a trap. I get it. I appreciate where I've dug this hole. But I appreciate all 4 of you guys going along with this whole thing today. We will be back next time. Same Trek channel, same Trek time. That's what we're going to go
Close
with.
enough, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Like,
Bye.